But Elon Musk's influence is sweeping throughout the administration. It was late last week that the Doge team showed up at USAID offices in Washington and demanded access. USAID employee Christina Dry described the scene.
Doge was in the building. We took down our pride flags. I took out any books I felt would be incriminating. No one was talking. We heard they started taking transcripts automatically of all of our Google Meets. They unplugged the news in the little kitchen galleys. It didn't feel good. And then Saturday, all of the websites went down, and then I lost complete access to my computer.
We can brag on Marco Rubio. I'd be happy to do it, but I'm going to tell you right now, people are going to die in very large numbers around the world who are expecting the United States to live up to our promises to get them medicine, to get them help. And when that happens, people are going to remember that. There are people right now who have HIV who are alive only because the United States is making sure of that. Donald Trump says, we don't care. You go die. That's the message from the United States government. It is the wrong message to be sending, and it opens up the door for China and other people say, at least we're a stable government who's not going to leave you out here to die. That's this is not an abstract conversation for people around the world.
The legacy media is in total meltdown mode as President Trump and Elon are completely and effectively remaking the federal government in the image of MAGA. And to make matters even worse, Trump's poll numbers are soaring in the process. We're going to take a look at exactly the source of this calculus and why it may indeed mean that the Democrats will be locked out of power for the next generation. Hey gang, it's me, Dr. Steve, your Patriot Professor, here to analyze and give you a front row seat on the rise of the new American golden age that you made possible back on November the 5th. So make sure to smack that bell and subscribe button. A total demolition. That's the way the far left activists over at Politico are describing the takeover of DC by Doge. What's happening is the equivalent really of a thermonuclear combination of the Reagan Revolution and the Gingrich Revolution. It's the kind of total bureaucratic dismantling that comprised the nightmares of woke liberals for decades. Only this time, those nightmares have become a reality, and the left-wing media is in a total meltdown.
But we begin tonight with a full-on crisis in our democracy, as federal workers are literally locked out of their offices while operatives working for a private citizen essentially take over our government. Their tactics include turning off our federal websites, deleting government-funded research that you, the taxpayer, paid for to impose speech codes, bullying news organizations by demanding interview transcripts, implementing an FBI purge, locking federal workers out of their computers, and even turning them away at their offices while giving themselves, without congressional or any other authorization, full access to the personal data of tens of millions of Americans. This as Trump installs unqualified minions at the heads of every federal agency, knowing that they wouldn't stop this even if they knew how. At least when he's not threatening multiple trade wars or vowing to launch a new age of American imperialism by colonizing the indigenous people of Greenland and the Panama Canal, all while congressional Democrats issue strongly worded letters, plus holding a press conference today, and congressional Republicans sit back and let the federal government they work for collapse all around them, while they occasionally beg Trump for tariff mercy for their states. If this were happening in any other country right now, I promise you, I'd be on the air calling it a coup.
A coup. You heard that right. You actually heard that. According to Joy Reid, a democratically elected president has just launched a coup. That square circling is what passes as political analysis inside the asylum at MSNBC. How's this for putting these rants in perspective? The same people terrified of Doge wanted to hire 80,000 additional IRS agents to audit you. Do you remember the media freaking out about that? Neither do I. That's how ridiculous these guys are. No one's buying it. And I'm going to show you the polls in a moment to prove it. But the irony here is that officials inside USAID only have themselves to blame for all of this. Elon confirmed that. He pointed out that all the Doge did was check to see which federal organizations were violating President Trump's executive orders the most. Who were the most egregious violators? And it turned out it was USAID. That's why they became the primary target here. That's why they were prioritized in dismantling the administrative state. Again, case in point, even though President Trump ordered a freeze on all monies coming out of USAID, I mean, it was an unambiguous freeze. Officials there were still approving over $6 million in contracts just this past Friday. I mean, their recalcitrance, which apparently is legendary, their complete lack of regard for executive authority turned out to be their own undoing, right? I mean, it's a spiritual law, gang. Pride cometh before the fill in the blank, fall. It really does. You really do reap what you sow. Pride really does go before the fall. Oh, and as if things couldn't possibly get worse, Trump's pick for Attorney General, Pam Bondi, she's now officially poised for easy confirmation in the next couple of days. So with Bondi at the helm of the Justice Department, the Trump administration can now begin Act 2 in cleaning out the swamp. Right now with Act 1 and Doge, we're seeing sort of the dismantling phase of the administrative state. But in Act 2, we'll be seeing the prosecutorial phase, the prosecution of the most corrupt figures within the state. So the dismantling will soon be translated into indictments, and that is when the real dung will start hitting the fan, to use the King James English there. When lifelong career bureaucrats who've been running permanent Washington start getting perp-walked in front of cameras, gang, that's when you'll know Act 2 of this glorious drama has officially begun. Oh, and did I say things couldn't get worse? Well, they do. Trump's latest poll numbers are out, and let's just say if you thought the liberal media was panicking over Doge, they're about to have a stroke after they see these numbers. But first, gang, you know, we all look out for each other here on this channel, and your health is our #1 priority. So if you're one of the 100 million Americans struggling with all the weight gain and loss of energy that comes with a fatty liver, you've got to try Liver Health Formula. It's an all-natural supplement, contains 12 clinically proven botanicals that help recharge and protect your liver. It's manufactured right here in the USA and approved by independent American doctors. And if you click on that link below right now, you can actually try Liver Health Formula and receive a free bottle of blood sugar formula when you order today. So don't let a fatty liver keep you sluggish and inactive. Click on that link below or go to getliverhelp.com/Turley and claim your free bonus gift. That's getliverhelp.com/Turley. Morning Consult. Ironically, one of the most left-leaning polling outlets out there has just released a brand new poll showing Trump with a +14 approval rating. He now stands at 52% approval, just 38% disapprove. In fact, the same poll found that Trump is now among the top 5 most popular leaders in the world. To add insult to injury, when it comes to the generic ballot for how you plan to vote in the 2026 congressional elections, the Republicans have opened up an 8-point lead over the Democrats. The Democrats are literally in a political tailspin right now, and it's not hard to see why. The brilliance of Trump is that he's backed both the Democrats and the sycophants and their legacy media into a corner. He's forced them to defend perhaps the single most unpopular political position in the country right now. American voters don't just overwhelmingly want a smaller, downsized government. They want America to have far less of a role of intervention throughout the world. So this is what makes gutting USAID such a seismic and pivotal event. It's not a matter of simply putting an end to all the absurd spending on woke projects and global DEI initiatives around the world. It's putting an end to American hegemony itself. Remember, USAID was the principal agency through which the deep state was able to get its tentacles into nations all over the world. I mentioned in our video the other day how Robert Kennedy Jr. was talking to Tucker about this. He detailed the role of USAID in overthrowing a duly elected government in Ukraine back in 2014, because that government was relatively pro-Russian. So the CIA, through the USAID, launched a successful color revolution, the Maidan Revolution, that overthrew the Ukrainian president Yanukovych and installed a puppet government at the behest of Victoria Nuland and the United States State Department. We've got the transcripts of the conversation that she had with, if I recall, the then ambassador to Ukraine, setting up this puppet government. She chose which leaders were going to lead it. That was the real coup. And it was launched by the United States, which in turn led to Russia ultimately invading Ukraine and the bloodiest war in Europe since World War II. Again, according to RFK, you could largely thank USAID for that. That is what the Democrats and their mouthpieces in the legacy media are now trying to defend. Think about it. They're literally trying to defend Babel. They're trying to defend the tower in a populous age where the people want to dismantle it. The brilliance of Trump is he has backed the Democrats and the media into a corner where they are now in the completely untenable position of having to defend the indefensible. And they're suffering politically for it. The latest Quinnipiac polls are showing Democrats at their lowest approval rating ever, with just 31% support. Nearly 7 in 10 voters want nothing to do with this party. And why should they? It's a party that's been reduced to defending the indefensible. Again, keep in mind, the same people who are screaming and crying about the loss of USAID were the ones who were championing the hiring of 80,000 IRS agents to audit you. Talk about a gap in value and priority. They're screaming and crying not because of failed border policies that are murderous or the disaster of Bidenomics that created a cost of living crisis. They're screaming and crying because Trump and Elon are taking away their piggy bank funded by your tax dollars. Trump and Elon taking away their piggy bank by which they got to fund all these DEI projects around the world and overthrow governments using your money. Unfortunately for them, the jig is up. Their corruption has been exposed. Trump is being seen as the defender of the people who's exposing that corruption, all the while the Democrats are increasingly being seen as the defenders of the swamp and special interests. That's why we can expect to continue to see Trump's polls rising, all along with the shrieking hysterics coming from the legacy media. I want to personally invite you to an incredible live event that you won't want to miss, the America's Golden Age Summit. Mark your calendars for February 27th at 2:30 p.m. Eastern Time. It's all online. We're going to explore how America is entering a new golden age filled with opportunities to thrive like never before. Now, during this powerful 90-minute event, my special guests and I will reveal some secrets for how you and your family can prosper like never before in this exciting new era. From financial strategies to building a legacy rooted in freedom and faith, this summit is designed to help you succeed. Spaces are limited, so don't wait. Register now and secure your spot today. Can't wait to see you there.